Look at Nichushkin up there.
Look at him.
Right?
I mean, preseason, but whatever.
Yeah, he is.
Good
but
for him.
I know. It's a start for his ornery ass.
I don't recall the date offhand, but have you seen the leaks for Pittsburgh?
I have not. Oh no. Should I Google or wait until? I'll just wait because I haven't come across it organically yet.
Might as well not go looking for it. Because, yeah.
Can I just ask one follow-up?
Sure.
Is it as compared to like what we expected? I mean, we did have high hopes for Baltimore and even Cincinnati, and they were massively disappointing. Is it that, or is it just, wow, this is pretty poor and comedic?
I'm going to hold until I see actual design.
Oh, fair enough. I got you.
Because what I saw was a T-shirt, and so far, every time I've seen the T-shirt first, it has come true that is what they do.
Okay.
And if that's what they do, it'll be another one of those situations where it's like, okay, cool. Like, it's not bad, but man, I wanted so much more.
Yeah, you could have done a lot with this.
Like anything would have been fine. Thanks.
Yeah, for real. Maybe, pay attention to the cities. It's so discouraging, dude, because it's like this was an exciting crop this year of teams to get excited about.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's been absolute cheeks.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the luster of the two really good designs gets, and I did it to us. I'm the one who was like,
you did glass shatter that because I was like, he's fucking right.
Sorry.
But you're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong.
They could do those any year.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what makes those City Connects.
Hey, you know what? Black pants is what makes them City Connects.
And I'm at the point where I feel like maybe we're ready for just giving up on the whole thing, which bums me out because it's a cool project.
It is. I think you're probably in the same space as me where you're just kind of like, where neither of our teams have come out yet, and you're hoping to have an excuse to go out and snag some gear.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Phils for me and the Mets for you will probably both like be in the last four teams to come out, knowing our luck. But
and it'll be like this, where the Phils will come out like late May, and then the Mets will be like the last one in like some random ass time in July.
Right. And it's popcorn farts, and we'll just be like, we waited 4 years for this, man, for another version of a Liberty Bell in the Apple.
At this point, I'd be happy with an Apple. If they do an Apple, I'll be like, okay, cool. At least it's not like the garbage that's been coming out.
Yeah. At least this can be said to be connected to the city anyway. My thing is anything but the Liberty Bell, dude.
Seriously.
I'm so fucking tired of the Liberty Bell. I think most Philadelphians probably are. It's just like at this point, like there is other shit.
Yeah.
And it's already in the logo. Lucas Dostal in net for the Kings here in the preseason. I don't know, dude. Put a hoagie on the front. I don't care. I really don't.
There's a cheese stick.
Yeah. At this point, I'm like to the point where it's like there's gun violence up there. Put a gun on the hat. Like, I mean, I say that in jest, but it's just you want to see something, to your point about the Apple.
Go collapsing I-95.
Yeah, dude. What the hell with that? I saw that and was like, oh,
only
okay.
Philly, huh?
Dude, right? Like, Jesus. Oh, I wish I would have thought of that first. That's great. That's fucking great.
It's just it bums me out. It's like, I don't know, the completionist in me wants them to just finish the damn thing.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
If it's just going to be heartbreak after heartbreak,
just depression, right? And the other thing is maybe, who knows? I mean, you can never really say for sure, especially with baseball, but maybe once this does get out of the way, maybe they do reconvene and come up with something else that will be a better version of what this was intended to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I I think they still do Players Weekend. If they don't, they just stopped it then, because that used to be every year. That would be a fun hat drop on like your Fanatics and everything. I mean, mind you, every year the theme for Players Weekend wasn't exactly good, but it gave you some. My point is, it gave you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Almost like City Editions or Reverse Retros or whatever. It was baseball's version. But then it got to a point at the end with that where they got lazy, and it's just like our version of Player Weekend gimmicks this year is just going to be every team's going to, it's just let's white out everybody's logo, or and it's just like, this is stupid, dude. You know, it's not good. It doesn't look good, you know. So I don't know, maybe baseball should just stick with the let's do camo and patriotic hats on Memorial Day or the 4th, and then, you know, on Mother's Day we wear pink, and on Father's Day we wear blue. Maybe just stick with that.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with those promotions. They're cool, you know, but it's like you'd like to see more.
Well, especially when there was just flat out good ones, and then there was promising ones.
Yeah.
And then, you know, again, like as we're coming away from it, like now I'm looking at the Rangers fondly. Like, that's not right. You can't do that to me.
I know. And it's like, even Boston. And that was the first one to come out. We're like, what the hell?
Yeah. But at least the spirit of the thing was there.
It was true. Exactly. Like, you're going to know that if you're from Boston.
It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I hate the rail on this because we've done this bit a lot lately, but
we have. But it's also like when you really think about it, like when you really stop and think about it, and if you let this rabbit hole monopolize 5 or 10 minutes of your mind, it really does make you angry. It really does, because it just seems like the theme has been, in the last two, it's just so Baltimore gets Baltimore across the chest.
Cool.
And Cincinnati just gets Cincy. And in a vacuum, I love those Reds jerseys. They're so fucking cool. I just don't understand. For those two alone, I thought, like, okay, you can, and we even said this, you can do a can of Old Bay font or jersey design for Baltimore. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, you have fucking Skyline Chili. There's things you could have done other than just go, yeah, we're Cincy. Like, yeah, we know.
I kind of hope that maybe, and I still haven't bothered to read into it, maybe that C is like kind of like when we saw the Royal, and the Royals was good. So like,
so good.
It's not even really a comparison, but like when you see the Royals fountain thing, it's like, I don't get the fountain, but
yeah.
And then you read about it, it's like, oh, City of Fountains. Okay.
I get what they're going for. Exactly.
I haven't looked into it to see if that's the case here with Cincy, but even still, it's like, it's lazy.
It is, dude. And I do know that Cincinnati's got a decent arts community. So maybe
that's frustrating.
Maybe it's that somehow. But then again, I would say, because of the arts community, I would argue that your shit should have been better.
Exactly.
You know, the architecture there and everything is impressive. Like, there's a lot. I've been to Cincinnati. It's a nice place. I mean, are you going to go there and go, this is the best place I've ever been? Probably not. Ultimately, it's Ohio. No disrespect, but it's a cool place. And, you know, Baltimore too. Why is the trend, let's just put the cities on the front now? And yeah, at the bare minimum, you at least cash in on easy cap purchases.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, dude, is it's like, you know, why are the caps so wonky? You know, Nice. I was stuttering there because I was really trying to get that damn puck. I did not want it to be icing. It just seems like they've kind of thrown their hands up. And like, you know, remember when you were a kid and you, for whatever, you know, you get assigned a project or whatever, or book report, and you get it, you know, a month or two in advance your due date, and you push that shit to like the second to last day before it's due, and then you're like, fuck, I have to cram to like just meet this deadline. That's kind of how these feel.
Yeah. And it's like, how?
Yeah. We started these 3 years ago.
Like, I get how, I could sort of get how Boston and Miami, because they were the first ones, and it's
absolutely.
And we were giving both of those so much crap, and now you look at it and it's like, no, those are actually kind of some of the better ones.
Yeah, I would kill for more of those.
Where it's like, sure, maybe not my cup of tea, but like I get it at least.
Yeah, I think when this is all done, by the time we're grandparents, that we should definitely do kind of because I know we've kind of touched on, our rankings of the ones as they come out and kind of updating them. Hey. Mystery guy. I absolutely think a ranking should happen, because I'll be interested to see, to your point, where the Bostons end up and the Miamis and, some of the ones that at the time we were like, the fuck? Like,
it's really going to bum me out, dude. And this is like the third or fourth time in a row of us talking about this, that this has come up. But when all is said and done and San Francisco is middle of the pack,
dude, seriously,
that is going to be mad.
Because when that came out, we were offended. And I don't know if it's the eyes playing tricks on you, but I saw it recently and I was like, it's not that bad. I was like, it's not that good either, but it doesn't anger me like it used to. You remember when they came out, we were both like, these suck. And yeah.
God,
damn, Ghost.
You love to see it.
Hell,
I think this isn't his first though. Well, I guess so.
Okay, it is. You'll love to see dude's picture up there.
Yes.
That's timeless. But yeah, I feel like when the Giants come up, you have to say the Golden Gate Bridge should have been the cap, or at least and also probably should have been the front. Yeah. And I don't know what the gradient. I still think if you're going to do the gradient, that you put more black in there. Don't just make it white and orange. It looks like a Players Weekend thing, and it's just. But we've seen way worse.
Yep.
Way worse than that shit. And so Pittsburgh's it for the year too. Yeah.
Yep.
So again, we're done before the All-Star break, as if there's not more baseball left to be played. We could make some headwork here on the rest of these. And,
here's another thing that bears repeating. Baseball could, save this easily because here we are railing against them. Stop giving us time to rail against it. When was Baltimore? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah. And then like immediately Cincinnati comes out. Yeah. And you're like, okay, but what's next? Well, we'll get to the Pirates in a month.
It's like, oh.
And you're like, well, what happened? And we're so tired from putting these city names on the front that we need time to regroup.
And then that's it for the year.
Yeah.
It's like,
in June.
Cool.
As if there's not 3 months left of baseball still to play.
I don't know, man. It's a bummer.
It is, dude, and it sucks because I've gotten back into like having baseball on my radar in my life, and I know I've said it here before, but it feels good to be back into baseball, dude.
Yeah.
And you'd like to have more gear to get excited about.
Yeah.
Because this shit, I mean, it's whatever it had, whatever momentum was there, is completely been fumbled. And what I'm hoping will happen is that, you hope there's going to be one to come out that is just fire as fuck, a San Diego Padres one, or, one of those, the White Sox South Sides that can come out and really get you juiced up for the project again.
Because I don't know who's left that can do that, though. It's the problem.
Dude, me either. And that's why I'm like sitting here thinking like, okay, yeah, there is our teams left, but it's not like we've just been excited for us. I mean, we were geeked for the Rockies. We were geeked for the Royals, there were plenty of teams that we were like, we're really curious to see how Team X looks. And yeah, so
I'm worried about saying this into a live mic because we haven't yet. And I just thought of a team who has the possibility to do some really cool things. And I guarantee you they won't. The Detroit Tigers.
Ooh.
Like, I like their gear. I mean, it's middle of the pack gear. It's nothing special.
It's very traditional,
which is fine.
Absolutely.
Baseball.
Yeah.
But like all the things about Detroit that they could do, like there is some Motown, dude, would be hot.
Yes, man.
Motor City, anything, like I'm less excited about that, but that would be cool.
Sure.
There's plenty that they can do. We're gonna get like DET.
Yeah. So. Just a Ford truck on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, cool.
Henry Ford's asshole. You're just like, here you go. I know it's funny because as you said that, I had a team pop into my mind. And I was wondering if you were going to go the same route. And you didn't. The Tigers are a great one, but the one that come to mind for me was the St. Louis Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
And
Arches just jumping out right at the top.
Yeah, dude. You could do a barbecue, gimmick. I mean, there's a lot of routes you could go there too. And I love the Cardinals. I mean, we've talked about them before too.
You hate to love them.
Absolutely. You fucking hate them as a team. And when they find themselves in the playoffs, you vomit. But my God, that gear is fucking timeless, dude. So whatever it is, you find it hard to believe that it would be a step up from what they normally have. But that's another one that could have potential.
Oh,
damn it. So I'm gonna look that up. Which teams haven't?
So just while you're doing that, I'm gonna like off the dome it because we already mentioned the Tigers, we already mentioned the Cards. Obviously, the Mets, Yanks, and Phils haven't.
Yep.
The Twins haven't.
We'll try and get by divisions. Twins, Royals have.
The Guardians.
They have not.
Right.
So okay, that's the AL Central.
The Astros already have.
Yep.
The Angels already have. The Mariners already have. Who else is in the West? The A's. There's some. Oh God, that's frustrating possibilities. Especially. God, man.
Do you wait till they move?
Right. I mean, Vegas could bring even cooler gear. That's possible.
It is.
Not likely, but possible.
Well, and it just feels like kind of bullshit to, okay, here's a brand new team and here's a City Connect when it's like, bro, we just got here.
We're not really connected to the city yet.
At all. And really, it's frustrating that they even are, dude, because the A's are like one of those. I don't know anybody that doesn't like the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless maybe you're a Giants. No, because the Giants beat them.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking maybe unless you're a Giants for a Dodgers, maybe. Yeah. But I don't know, dude. The Oakland A's are one of those teams that everybody I've ever talked to about baseball has always been kind of like, I kind of like the A's. And I think a lot of it is the Billy Bean aspect. They're the team that has always been, not always, but they've had their runs where they've been really, really pesky and good and an underdog, and they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
With the payroll the way it is in baseball. So, and how cool is it? I mean, look, I get if you go to that stadium and you're expecting like a 5-star experience, it's probably a bummer, but I've always, like we talk about like the hockey roadies, like where would you like to see? I've always wanted to do a ballpark one. And one of the big ones on my list would be the Oakland Coliseum. I just think it would be cool as shit to go there. The history, there's not a lot of those stadiums at all anymore. So I just think it'd be cool to see, man. I don't know. I get where you probably wouldn't be a season ticket holder there, but at the same time, it's a dying piece of history that you're not going to see anymore.
Yep.
So
well, there's I remember showing you the Oakland Soul, the women's soccer team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we got an Oakland one,
oh my God, dude.
Those would be so good.
Yeah, that Oakland Soul crest was top notch. I mean, that thing was elite, dude. And you just hate to see him go. And it's like Vegas is the trendy thing now. And I guess if they're going to go anywhere, I guess Vegas does make sense. You know, I'm very much a proponent for Vegas isn't really the new thing anymore.
No,
I get why everybody wants to go there. It's prosperous. I get it. But I don't know, man. There's a reason why we talk about hockey expansion. That was a hell of a hit. Salt Lake gets me geeked. And I hope they call the team the Salt Lake fill in the blanks, because fuck claiming Utah, Salt Lake is a cool name. I mean, there's something too, I think, just, and this could be because we live in an area where there's not a professional sports team. I think there's something to be said for when an area gets a pro franchise that has never had one or doesn't have one. I just think it's cool. And you know what it is, maybe, is that it gives you hope for here.
Yeah.
And you realize, just given the political climate around here and the way it is, that's probably never going to happen, but one can hope.
Yeah. We also just don't have the big donors.
We absolutely not.
Ain't happening with Pharrell. Good for him, like doing the music.
I was going to say, we do have cool concerts though. So, which for the type of people that like those things, those are the type of things those people like. Not that I don't love live music. Don't get me wrong. I just prefer my live music, not $1,000 and, not around like literally thousands of people on an ocean front that I already don't want to be a part of. That's my thing. Like, I love a good concert. I was just talking to somebody the other day about, man, I haven't been to a concert in fucking years. It sure would be cool to go, but it just so happens a lot of the ones I want to go to are usually on weeknights, and I'm like, I just don't have the time right now, and I don't want to feel like death the next day because I'm old. Social Distortion's coming to the Norva, and I think September, and I was like, yo, and I looked, and it was on a fucking Tuesday, and I was like, yeah, no, like, I'm not that excited here. I was really geeked for Wasp when they were gonna come in November, and then they canceled. So I was like, all right, well, there goes that one. Like Wasp, I would get on the horse for, so I could see Born Again Blackie, but I guess God told Blackie not to come to Norfolk. So I don't know, but
Jimmy Eat World's coming too.
Oh shit.
Same September.
Okay. Yeah. There was a stretch, man, where I went to a lot of concerts and I miss it, dude. They're fun. Yeah. They're fun, but I'm also like, I don't know, dude, the older I get, just people, anxiety, and it's also like, I mean, dude, I'm 35, man. I'm out of that like party phase, dude. Like when you went to a concert, like you take it as an opportunity to capitalize and make it an all-day thing, and by all-day thing, I mean all-day drinking, because naturally nothing's fun unless you're shit-faced, right? So, now it's like, I don't know, man. I'd go and I'd have a couple of overpriced beers. And I'd probably be ready to go to bed. Like, I don't know. It's been since a previous life early that I was at a concert. So I don't know how I would react now, to be honest with you. But
that's one of those things that it would just kind of depend. Because when Joe and I went to Blink last month.
Yeah.
Because you drive with traffic, it comes out to about 4 hours, 4-hour trip. And we were, I have all those same things, like the anxiety of being in a huge ass crowd. Oh, I thought we scored like the last second one.
Damn it.
You get all those anxieties of being in a huge crowd, especially in a post-COVID world where COVID isn't really post, like it's still a thing, just not what it was. So there is all that worry, but like Joe and I were up literally as far high up as you can go.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, we're like shoulder to shoulder with people, and dudes who came in next to us were wearing black shirts, and they look at me and Joe and go, dudes in black shirts, I can see you guys got the memo. But the cool thing about a situation like that is you got to realize that they're there to see the same band you are.
Sure.
As cool as Turnstile was, people were there to see Blink. So,
yep.
Maybe they'll get excited about different songs than you will, but
yeah,
we were all there to see Blink.
And that's part of the fun, is seeing kind of what other people react to. It's definitely kind of a communal experience, and I loved it, dude, and still would absolutely enjoy it. My thing now with the concert is, like, for me to want to go, like, I would have done Blink in a heartbeat because I grew up with them and I still love them to this day. But it would have to be a Blink level, like somebody like that I'm like Wasp when they came, and I'm like, I know they're going to sound like shit, but I'll probably never have a chance to see them again. So sure. And Social Distortion, I really like them. So I was like, all right, maybe, I'm not just going to roll up for any random band now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember back in the day, I was just talking to my boss about this shit this afternoon. He's going to some concert in Portsmouth, and the only time I've been to the 757 talk, kids, the only time I've been to the Portsmouth gimmick was a buddy of mine, shout out David, years ago, dude, just texted me on like a random, I don't know, Wednesday, and was like, hey dude, you want to go to Portsmouth tonight? Poison and Dokken are playing there. And I was like, well, how much are tickets? And I don't know, dude. I think lawn seats, I mean, back then were like fucking $20.
I was gonna say dirt ass cheap.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, so do I want to go and get rip roaring drunk and listen to 80s hair bands with my buddy? Absolutely. Fuck yeah. So let's do it. Last minute concert. And we went, and it was fun, but there was also a part of me that was like, I just went out of the way last minute to see fucking Dokken, and I like Dokken, and by that point I had already seen Poison, and it's like, I love Poison, but man, are they cheeks live. So you're like, by the first time of seeing them, you're like, yeah, I probably don't need this again. But naturally I went back 3 more times. So it was just like, all right, who they coming with this time? I'll go for them. And ironically, probably my most fun I ever had at a concert, or my favorite, was Poison and Cinderella, because I fucking love Cinderella, and they fucking rocked, dude. They blew Poison out of the water. Poison came out, and everybody was just like, yeah, we're good. We've heard enough from you, Brett. And this is when he was still like giving out flowers on VH1 and shit.
This like Rock of Love, Brett Michaels.
Yes, dude. It was around. I don't know if it was actually still going on, but it was in that time where that show either was still going on or was still relevant. And that's what, when a lot of people saw him, that's what they thought of, instead of big hair and whatever else. So they're fun, man. I'd love to go to a show at the Norva again.
Yeah.
The only concert I ever went to there, because such a cool venue, and they sell shots of Jaeger, which is, I mean, that's always a plus. But I saw this band called Minus the Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a fan. I don't know if you are, but I was like, so it was a shorty that wanted to go. Mm-hmm. So naturally, you go and you're like, okay. And I'm there and I'm just like, she'd give me like a CD. Jesus. Jack Quinn just ripped that shit past Markstrom.
Markstrom in regular season form. Good to see.
Exactly. In the 4th preseason game. Like, hey, here's this burned copy of a Minus the Bear album. Why don't you listen to them in your car? This was before smartphones, kids, and Apple Music and shit. And just, so you'll kind of be familiar with their music. And I put that shit in my CD player, and I think I made it like 30 seconds into each song and skipped through them. And was just like, Yeah, not for me. But naturally you still go because reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it was just like, oh, there's Jaeger here for $6 a shot. That's what I'm interested in. And then next thing you know, you don't remember how you got back to Hampton from Norfolk because you're 23 and dumb as shit. So yeah, that was my Norva experience. I also underrated concert, and I know we've talked about them. Nickelback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not embarrassed or ashamed to say they fucking rocked live, dude. And I was never, I mean, we've talked about this. I was never like, fuck Nickelback guy. Like, I could take him or leave him, you know? And, you know, person, an ex I was with at the time, very much loved them, wanted to go see. They came to the Coliseum with very similar bands that white girls with her name liked. And I think it was Finger 11 and Breaking Benjamin. Yeah. No, it was Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace, because 3 Days Grace was actually solid. And that was after like that 1X album came out. And I was like, this album's cool. So let's go there. But woof is that's the appropriate response. And it was just like, oh, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. And then Nickelback comes on and you're like, is it okay to display to folks that I enjoy this? Because this is a very good time, you know? And they were good, man. They won me over that night anyway. I'm not going out buying Nickelback posters, but I was like, you know what? Not so bad. You know, they definitely know how to put on a show. I mean, they've sold a shit ton of records.
Yep.
So somebody's listening to them somewhere. For everybody that claims to hate Nickelback, some of yous are full of shit. You know,
I've seen so many great shows at the Norva. I saw the Smashing Pumpkins there. I saw the Deftones there twice. I've seen Cake there.
Ooh.
I saw the Fearless Flying Frog Brigade there twice. And these are just the ones that I can remember.
Right.
I saw ICP there once, which happened to be the last time I saw ICP.
Motherfucking homies.
And it was on the Hell's Pit tour. And suddenly the room went from the I love you guys to like aggressive and angry mosh pit.
I want to kill you guys.
I was like, wait a second, this isn't what we do. What's going on here?
What happened to
So that was like the last ICP show I ever went to, and pretty much the death of me calling myself a juggalo.
Yeah, I've never got that, man. By got that, I mean I've never understood it. Because there's like women that'll get out there, dude. And like, it's like, what's going on here, man? Like, it's almost like this carnal fucking like, it's very bizarre. And it's just like, at what point, oh damn it. Shit. Haven't been on the wraparound game lately. I'm getting hung up around the net, which is mildly frustrating. Fuck.
These Kraken just have our number, I think.
For real, dude. Oh, damn. But yeah. I do miss it though, man. I do miss the concert phase.
Clearly I'm in mine because we went to Blink last month. I'm going to Blink again next month. The Pumpkins are at the end of August, and then Jimmy's in September. Okay. I don't have tickets for the Pumpkins or Jimmy yet. But at least the Pumpkins has to happen, because it's one of those situations where it's like, the Pumpkins are my favorite band, like bar none.
Yeah.
And I've only seen them twice in my life. And
yeah, you definitely have to see them. I think.
Haven't even had that many opportunities. So, but like, I also don't want to miss this one.
Right.
Especially since the last one got robbed from me.
Yeah.
Damn. So I kind of want to like make that happen.
Absolutely.
And plus they're this doesn't really matter, but like they're like people are into them again. Like they're starting to get popular again. Like they're the most relevant they've been in probably since 97, 96 easily,
which is cool, man.
Yeah. And again, that ultimately doesn't matter, but it'd be cool to be in a crowd that is like into hearing the band the way they present themselves, as opposed to
absolutely
when I went to see them at the Norva in 2010. They're touring Tear Garden stuff, like, which wasn't fully out yet, and all you can hear, like, I had a recording for a long time that I would listen to, and there's this one girl over my right shoulder. She's up in the whatever, she's upstairs at the Norva, and you just can hear her going, Siamese dream.
Shut up, Lindsay.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah,
we get it. They're touring a whole different album. Half of that, the band that was in the band then isn't in the band anymore.
Right.
Give it a rest.
Yeah, we get it. You're here for the greatest hits.
Oh, come on, man. Is this Grease dude really like shutting us down like this?
Dude, right?
Get as many shots as we can before they take this puck. Come on, Zub.
And that's very true too, because the crowd you're around can either ruin or make a concert for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the downside. Like, I've noticed, it's the age old, like, do you go lawn or do you pay for seats? Mm-hmm. And I think it's like the lawn, if you happen to get the right crowd, is a fucking raving good time.
Oh, totally. It depends on the band and the crowd specifically.
Absolutely.
Because I can tell you, like, one time specifically that a crowd completely ruined my experience. I'm not sure if I've told you this one yet. Fish. And look,
oh God,
I'm not Fish guy, and that's me. Like, I was like, oh, I really don't want to go, but my brother's a huge Fish head.
It's like, an experience too. Yeah.
And he's like, I want to take you to see Fish. And I was like, all right, man, I'm not having to pay for the ticket. Cool, I'll go. They were in Portsmouth. And as opposed to the Coliseum, which is the better venue to see them, he insists.
Ghost
that
again.
Couldn't go any better,
right?
That was like everything it needed to be.
Not the jinx, but 2 for 2 on the power play so far. So maybe the power play this year will come through for us. But
maybe those moves,
right? Fish in Portsmouth, though.
So and like you said, like, it's an experience. Like, you're hoping to like see dancing hippies and a lot of people smoking pot.
Let me buy a grilled cheese in the parking lot.
Yeah, like things like that. Seriously, like that's what you're hoping for, especially here in Hampton.
Yes.
Again, we went and traveled to Portsmouth, but a bunch of frat dudes, a bunch of drunk frat dudes.
Oh, dude.
And
fucking A.
Appleton, good for him. One of the few that we retained.
Yes, exactly.
Though it just, like, not that I necessarily would have enjoyed it any better, but
that takes you out of it.
We were in the lawn, and it's just like all these drunk frat dudes. Like, so, like, the experience itself isn't fun. There was no way I was ever going to be into the music. So, of course.
Damn it.
Of course.
And just like that, the game's tied.
Computer got a computer sometimes, even in the preseason, I guess.
You know it, dude.
But that's like the most notable. Now, on the other hand, here's a controversial band that I know always bristles you every time it comes up. One of the reasons I go to bat for them every time it comes up is because of this time I saw them. ZZ Top. I went and saw them at the Portsmouth Amphitheater, and we were in the lawn, and it was a fucking blast. It was so much fun.
So can I say this about ZZ Top? And I want to preface this with, you can never play this for Fredo. I will own this, okay? I kind of had never really delved into them, but so much because you're familiar with the cheesy radio shit. Mm-hmm. Right. And this is the beauty of Deprogrammed. And I wish I had done it. I thought about it after this. I discovered the Tres Hombres album. and I was like, yo, this is fucking good. I don't remember what album it's off of, but the song Rough Boy, I was like, holy shit, this isn't them. This isn't Cheap Sunglasses and all that shit. But I'm still not going to beat the drum for them, and I'm still and always going to be fundamentally offended that Fredo believes that they're better than the Doors, or at least said that he believes that, because I vehemently fucking disagree. But I've cooled out on them a lot. We'll just say that.
Well, and I do love their live show was awesome. Like I said, I don't love them, but it is weird. They're one of those bands that it would take me 100 bands to get to ZZ Top. Justin, list your favorite bands. List, great bands. It would take me forever to get to them. But every time I hear a ZZ Top song, I'm like, yeah, I'm into this.
Yeah,
even those bullshit ass radio ones, Cheap Sunglasses and stuff. But some of that is because I'm a sucker for guitar, and he's a tremendous guitar player.
Oh, he's great. Absolutely. And it was never like they're not talented. It was just kind of like, get this out of my ears. God damn it. And everything after that is fucking good. But yeah, I don't know. But I was like, you know what, man? Not so bad. Still not better than the Doors.
No.
But I think ZZ Top is very I think they're very systemy too. I don't think you can put ZZ Top on. To your point, it's ZZ Top's not somebody you're putting on anytime, any day and going, fuck yeah, this is it. I think ZZ Top, it's got to be a certain type of day, a certain type of environment. And if you check all of those boxes, ZZ Top will hit a little more than it would if you're like driving. Oh, damn, that was a beautiful pass and I fucking missed this shit. Yeah, you're not listening to ZZ Top, with the fucking top down in your convertible at fucking 2:00 in the afternoon driving down Mercury Boulevard. You know what I mean? But it's like Jimmy Buffett. My mom, I love her. My mom is Buffett, super pro Buffett. And I'm okay with Jimmy Buffett. I understand it, I guess, but it's just like Jimmy Buffett is this like religious experience of like Tommy Bahama dudes and like it's just like all a bunch of dudes that look like fucking Jeff Fisher. If you remember the old coach of the Rams, like just a NASCAR infield, and you're like, what the fuck? How did we get here? It's like just white zombies. And yeah, I get it. I do. I dated a girl whose parents were like fucking obsessed with Jimmy, but they even had the fucking parrot head license plates that come out around here and shit. And it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ. And they would argue with you about how Fruitcakes was a tremendous album. And you're just like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I kind of lump ZZ Top in with that. And that might not.
I think that's fair, actually.
Like, it's just very systemy.
My dad, a parrot head for a very brief moment in the sun.
We all have our dark days, man. It's okay.
I think it was like he was going through it. It was like after the divorce, before he came out as gay, and so like he's like exploring literally everything.
Right.
Like I remember him bumping "Steal This Album" by System of a Down.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, Dad.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it, but okay.
Yeah. Where'd this come from, Pop?
And like he got really into Lady Gaga, and like he just kind of dove into a bunch of different places. Oh,
sure.
Cool. Are we about to go to overtime in preseason? Looks like it.
Yes, we are.
Cool.
With the Kraken, 2 sea beasts.
But yeah, man, like Buffett is like for old people, I guess is what I was
about to dude. Well, and I was gonna say, you know what though? Honestly, dude, Buffett. Oh shit. Buffett, I can understand absolutely post-divorce because you have a big life changer there. And I could imagine probably part of his thought process was, I can get an easy prospect here. Because Buffett, I don't know what it is, dude, but the people that are into Buffett does something to them. And like, if you've ever seen him play fucking fins live in front of a group of people, like, you would think it's the fucking Beatles, dude. And you're like, fins to the left, fins to the right. And you're just like, this shouldn't feel like a religious experience, but it kind of does for some fucking reason here, because old white people with old white people names really like him, Cheeseburger in Paradise. They made a fucking chain of those restaurants around those. They had Margaritaville mixers in stores, and you're just like, the dude can move merch. I'll give him that. Him and like Kiss, you can't knock the hustle. But dude, like, my mom loves Cheeseburger in Paradise, and she will totally sing along with it. And I listen to the words, and I'm just like, have you ever, like, honestly listened to this fucking shit? How just terrible it is. I don't know. But yeah, dude. They're definitely one and the same to me. And I would take ZZ Top over Buffett, just for the record. But Fredo cannot know that. Damn it. I was trying to... I had a fucking feeling when it was like he was skating like everywhere. You're like, oh, he's probably going to bury this.
Whatever, it's preseason.
Yeah.
But it is frustrating when the computer's going to computer 7 hits.
Blankenberg, dude.
Good for him.
Yeah. No idea where he came from.
Also, what the fuck, Markstrom?
38 fucking hits. Jesus. Yeah, no, that was not like
all of those goals were like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't feel like that was a game-winning quality goal that we just saw get scored.
Dude was out past the circle.
Like,
really? That's how you want to get beat?
Thanks, Markstrom.
I can understand, like, getting scrappy and something kind of ekes past you.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. Preseason.
Yeah. Thanks, Markstrom. He's
Thanks,
like, what?
dude.
I tried my best.
That's just it, sir.
Yeah. Try harder.
But it is cool getting to know all the new Sharks. And I feel pretty good about the season coming up.
Oh, dude, me too. I love the moves we made. And it's very cool to kind of have another, like, an off season under our belt too. Obviously, we put the team together back in October, but it's like, okay, you win, and now you get to really kind of get bogged down in the moves. It's the starting from scratch is kind of just, it's just that you're starting from scratch. There's no basis for anything. Once you get into the weeds and you can start making cuts, that's when shit gets tough. Unless it's Alex Iafallo.
That dude was always gonna go.
Yeah, then it's send us a box of paper clips and you can have them.
Well, we tried with Nichushkin too, but there was no takers.
No one wanted him, so we put him in number 98, which we Googled what was the worst jersey number in hockey history, and the number 98 is what it returned. So that's why he is in number 98. I forgot we had Marchessault, the Conn Smythe winner, on our squad. So yeah, no, it's I'm geeked for this season, dude, with these guys. I think it's going to be look, already in the preseason, and I think we touched on this last week, that there were a couple games last year where we won purely based off the style of hockey in which we play. And we didn't, I think our leading point getter, it was either Giroux or Landy. And they had under 82 points. So they were less than a point a game, technically. Like, it wasn't a glamorous style of hockey the Sharks played, but it got it done, won the President's Trophy, and swept everybody on the way to the Cup. So it worked for us, but I definitely think this year, I mean, we've been putting points up in the preseason, dude, you know, so I think it's definitely going to be a different type of team, way more well-rounded. But I mean, we had 38 hits in the last game against Seattle. And I mean, yeah, we had the overtime period, but that's short. So you come away with probably 30 hits in a regulation game. That's a lot. So we're still playing that brand of Sharks hockey that we do. So, and that was one where I was trying to hit the hit button and did not expect the puck.
Oh yeah, Michael Bunting. I forgot,
dude. I did too. I forgot we had Domi up. I think the way we did it is the best way to go, where it's not the big sexy signing and you go out and you sprinkle the money around everywhere, because whenever we're going to have to make the final cuts and figure out who's on the opening night roster, it's going to be tough, dude, because there is no Alex Iafallo on this roster. There's nobody that we've played with that I've been like, yeah, this guy's kind of cheeks and he's definitely not going to make the cut. Fuck yeah. Speaking of Domi, yep. Like that Blankenberg guy. Yeah. I mean, we were like, who is he and where did he come from? And fucking guy, it was the third star of the game this past game against Seattle with 7 hits. So that, I mean, fucking A, dude. So yeah, there's going to be a lot here. And by the way, we have set ourselves up beautifully for the future, because we have an ass ton of draft picks in the next like 2 drafts. Yeah. So the Barracudas should be loaded as well.
This is kind of what we did, is kind of what I'm hoping now, getting into the weeds with NBA 2K 23, doing like 8 million different versions, trying to find the one that I actually like.
Sure. Yeah.
But like you see all the contract stuff, and you know what you just talked about is exactly what the Suns need to do this year. We need to somehow sprinkle around the money. There's like none, but that's the talk of why waive Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Try to free up some money. But oh man. But we have no bench, you know, and that was our biggest problem this year, is like we gave up so much bench and we gave up draft picks to get Durant. We need people. I don't think this roster needs a third star. I think we just need.
You need that depth, dude.
We need. We do need.
You got quality. Booker and Durant.
You have probably 70 points a night just there. You just need quality role players. Or 40. Yeah.
Yep. And that's, I think, an underrated thing in any sport. And I think this is a lot of times. I was having this discussion with a buddy a week or 2 ago. We were talking about fantasy football, actually. And the same exact thing applies, you know, to hockey. You can whiff on your first rounder or your second rounder or whatever, and you can kind of start the draft a little rockier, but you have to have depth. I waited too long to shoot that. Otherwise that would have gone in. Fuck. If you have depth, you can afford to kind of whiff on your first rounder a little bit. You know what I mean? Everybody at the top of the draft is supposed to be good. So that's not really where you're going to build your roster. You're going to build your roster in those middle rounds. So same thing like we're saying with the Sharks franchise and with the Suns, you've got to have something there beyond the 2 or 3 guys that are going to win you a championship. Everybody on the roster is not going to win you a championship individually. That's just not going to happen.
There it is.
The captain, you know, but you have to have that supplemental talent. You have to. And that for me with the Sixers, I was like, we actually have more pieces this year than we did in years past. You know, guys like Paul Reed had really come along and, you know, been decent. PJ Tucker. And, you have the Game 7 collapse that was, and it's just like, well, there's nothing you can do about that. But, you've got to have dudes that can come off the bench and produce. You have to in any sport. And honestly, the way basketball is, it may be most important in basketball, because you only get 5 guys on the floor at the same time. And you have to have somebody there.
Look no further than the Denver Nuggets.
Right, dude.
Look how they just walked through everybody but us.
Yeah.
Every series, they walked through everybody. And, of course, that's not to erase them completely dismantling the Suns in Game 6. But the rest of that series was tight. But they got depth. Yeah, they got Joker, and he's going to be like their top guy. And they got Murray, who's going to be their second guy. But everybody else comes to play. Michael Porter Jr. Like, yes. I had 2 Denver Nuggets on my my fantasy team this year. Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. Like,
they're deep,
most of the
dude.
Season. Yeah,
they're deep. And that's as good as Jokic is. I will say this, though, and I don't want to knock, because look, man, part of me is you love to see a team that's never won before get it done. So I had mixed feelings about the finals, right? Because I was like, I love Jimmy Butler. And I still say the year we had him, if Kawhi didn't hit that fucking shot, if that game went into overtime, I think that was our year. And I think that's why that Kawhi thing bothers me so much. But we opted for Ben Simmons and fucking Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler,
who has willed the Heat to the finals twice,
dude,
in 4 years.
Yes. And it's like, that's a grown-ass man. I love that dude. And we had him and we gave him up. Fuck yeah, Domi. So I kind of was like, I'd love to see him get one because he fucking deserves it. But I wasn't mad if Denver won either, because they've never won one. So I thought that was kind of cool. But it just felt like a very weird finals, dude. Yeah. I don't know. And the Cup had a little bit of that too. But
both 5 games.
Yeah. And it's just like they didn't have... After the Panthers won Game 3, I kind of got a little juiced up again. I was like, okay, maybe we have ourselves a series here. But let's be honest. I mean, the moment you find out Kachuk's out for Game 5, you're like, it's over. It's a wrap. And, that sucks, I mean, and I guess at some point you had a feeling Florida's luck was going to run out.
Right.
I was like, all right, they're the Cinderella. I went with them. But, if I'm being honest, that was probably me trying to be fucking cute, Vegas is a superior team, and they were the best, they were the best team in the playoffs. So, but it was just weird, dude. It was such a weird finals. It was such a weird cup. And, but I think for different reasons. The NBA, it almost feels like, unless you're one of the premier franchises, it feels like the finals. And this, I'm not saying for me or for you, because you and I have talked about this shit. It's cool to see different teams there. And I think the NBA needs more of that. But even the year it was you guys in Milwaukee, it was like, it's 2 different franchises in the finals, but you had Giannis, who at that point was an established marquee player. You had an up-and-coming Phoenix roster that was fucking good, with Chris Paul, who you've always wanted to see on that stage. So you still had something there. With hockey, a lot of it is just the wonkiness of the ESPN and the league itself. And why would you alternate years that you put it on TNT and ESPN? And then I saw something earlier that was like, the ratings for the Stanley Cup were shit, basically. And it's like,
no shit.
Of course they were.
Who was able to watch it?
Exactly, dude. Like you put your product on a streaming service available for everybody, and the numbers are up then and you're doing good, and you take it during the most important time of year and you put it on network TV. Like, that's fine. That's good, honestly, but you need to leave it available where you had it to, because it's not fair to the people that have been there for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of just the NHL still somehow for years, the issue was, well, I don't know where to find you. You know, if you talk to people about, well, hey, you should watch hockey. Well, I just don't know where to find the games. You know, NFL is on Fox and CBS and, you know, all the other sports, you know, Major League Baseball is on Fox and ESPN and, you know, NHL, I should have passed that shit. The NHL is finally on a big network. And, you know, what do? They put their Stanley Cup on fucking TNT and only on TNT. And that's, you know, you can watch the replays on ESPN, but you've got to wait a little bit to be able to do it. And that's what I was trying to do. But it's like, by the time you get around to watching the replay, with the delay that it takes to get the replay up there, by the time I'm able to get to the replay, it's fucking the following game. Jesus, I'm offsides. The most recent game's about to be played that night. And you're just like, man, like, very frustrating. And I know we've talked about this before here, barn chirpers. You know, I'm sure when I haven't been there, you and Joe have mentioned it. It's dude, if you're a hockey fan, it's the most obvious thing in the world. Hockey is constantly going to get in its own way, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, because I watched exactly 0 Stanley Cup games.
Me too, live.
Considering I watched a good portion of the first round, all series.
Yeah.
A decent portion of the second round, all series, and some of the conference championship. The fact that I didn't make time for even one out of 5 games.
Yeah.
You know, and the first 2, admittedly, I was busy. It was just unfortunately not going to happen.
Right.
I was available the other 3.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a priority. As excited as I was for this cup.
Yeah.
I was geeked.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't bother watching it. Why? Because too hard to find. I don't want to go to one of those sites, dude.
I agree, dude. Something about that's weird, and you don't know in this day and age what it's going to do to your shit. And it shouldn't. Look, man, we're in 2023, right? In theory, this streaming shit is supposed to make your life easier. Mm-hmm. And I have never, in 35 years of being a fucking diehard sports fan, I've never watched less sports. I've never seen less sports because I don't have cable anymore. And so all these streaming services that you get one game on this one and one game on that one, and they do it to juice your money because that's all it is greed. And
come on,
fucking Markstrom. So much for your shutout, Dick. By the time you have all of these streaming services, you're paying cable. You might as well pay for cable, dude. And it's frustrating as fuck. It is, because it's like, I don't know, man. I'm at a point where I finally accepted, like, okay, old guy, just go to streaming, stop resisting, and, you know, get cable out of your life, because it is ridiculous. Television should not cost this much.
No.
You know, and I remember when I got my first apartment, dude, premium like package with the NFL Network and all that shit was like $70 a month.
If only.
Yeah, right, dude. And I was like, God damn, this is a lot. But, you know, whatever. Jesus Christ, dude. Now that gets you the local news channels through an antenna. Yeah, man, it's frustrating because you have to jump through flaming hoops to do it. And I'm one of those people. It's like I get to a point where I'm just like, man, I'm mad and don't want to anymore. And I'll go do something else, because it should not be this hard to just sit down and watch a game.
You know, I got to take a swipe at, now, I don't know if the finals were more readily available. It's possible, but because I believe the year I watched, it wasn't that hard to find Suns Bucks.
I'll say this real quick.
NBC maybe.
Yeah, just to interject, I'll say this. And I cared far more about the Stanley Cup like you than I did the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to find game 1 of the NBA Finals live on ESPN Plus. And NHL is the reason why we've got ESPN Plus,
mm-hmm.
and it's not there yet. The NBA Finals is, and I wanted to watch the Stanley Cup. I wanted to live, but same thing, dude. It's just. I didn't watch any of it live. I watched a little bit of some of the replays, but I did watch some of the finals live when I didn't really give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that I mean, that's almost the whole point. Is like, again, when the Suns made it a couple years ago, it was on ABC or NBC. I don't recall.
Yeah,
it was on one of those. Why are we moving away from that? Is the Super Bowl still on? Like, I feel like it fluctuates between NBC and Fox.
It's always
or CBS.
Yeah, it's always on one of the major networks. Because I mean, what the NFL has done is they've started to put. We'll see now. They've got the package is now exclusively on YouTube TV.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have to have the streaming horse shit. And they have the Thursday night games. You can only get them on NFL Network, which is a premium cable package, or you can get it on Amazon Prime.
Okay, well, but
so
number one, that is fine because that's extra.
It is, but and see, then you get into Sunday night football is on NBC. Monday night is on I believe ESPN. So the NFL is the most accessible by far, and they're smart in that regard. I mean, the NFL is king for a reason. It's not just because of the sport, but still, there's several
different places.
Yeah, dude. There's so many avenues in which you have to have. It's not like it was when we were our kids' age, where you put on 3 or 14 and you have the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost you were at the mercy then of local markets and local television and everything else. But it was almost like you like it better that way, because at least you're going to have access to a game.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to do all of this crazy shit. But no, to the point, the Super Bowl is always on one of the major networks, to where even if you don't have cable, you can get access. I mean, it's the fucking Super Bowl.
Exactly. And why, if you're the NHL or, the NBA, the World Series has got to still be on like Fox, probably. It
is. Yeah, dude. And look, man, I love the World Series, man. I do. There's still something about it that feels monumental to me. Maybe I'm just hella Caucasian in that way. I don't know, but it's Stanley Cup too. Why is it any championship should not be this hard to find, especially, when you look at hockey in this year's playoff. I mean, for fuck's sake, 50 Cent was at the Vegas game,
mm-hmm.
Game 5, and he's talking online about this shit is so much fun. It's awesome. It's a great time. You have celebrities that come to these games every year that are here's free advertising,
mm-hmm.
but you take it and you hide it away. Like, it's not a secret, dude. I've talked to people before, and I'm sure you have as well, that aren't like avid hockey fans, that go like, yeah, no, I know, and I'm aware that like the NHL playoffs are fucking intense and crazy, but I don't know where to watch them, or you know what I mean? And it's like, why would you not serve that up for people?
Well, and again, like, these arenas are, except for really shitty teams, are full.
Yeah.
People
dude.
are going. Get do anything you can to get somebody in the building, because they're going to fall in love with the sport.
That's it, dude. And especially the playoffs, that fucking atmosphere, dude. Who's going to watch that shit and not get into it? I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. The Matt Tkachuk goal, I believe it was, to get Florida into the cup. Just how insane Florida went. Like the fucking pop. It was
mm-hmm.
a Road Warrior pop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm not even a Florida Panther fan, and I went back and rewatched that moment 5 or 6 times just because it hits you in your feels. You get goosebumps, dude. It's like, this shit is fucking cool. And if anybody's a sports fan, that's all it's going to take to hook them. And, you know, you have to make your shit matter, and you have to make your shit available to people, especially now, dude. We're fucking lazy, man. We're not going to go do a bunch of extra shit to, you know, whatever. At the end of the day, it's like, fucking Christ. It's not the way it was anymore, where you have to wait for the 11 o'clock Sports Center or get the paper the next day on your doorstep. If you're a fan, you can. I didn't watch a single, maybe past 20 minutes, Sixers regular season game all year, but I still knew every night whether or not they won or lost before I went to bed, because you get so much shit sent to your phone now that it's like, you know what? Instead of watching this game, I'll go fuck off, or I'll go read, or I'll go watch this movie with my family, as opposed to watching this game, because I would like to watch this game, but I have to do all this extra shit, and I have to find it and track it down. And when I do, it's not difficult or it's not easy to watch anyway. So people just end up doing other shit. You know, I'll just end up going to bed most of the time, just like, fuck it, you know? And it's frustrating, dude, because I've never watched less sports in my life, you know, than I did this year, you know, and things get busy sometimes and whatever else. And I don't think that's a trajectory for me going forward, is suddenly at 35, I'm not interested in sports anymore. But when life happens and things are going on, you're like, I'm not going to do but so many series of flaming hoops to watch a random Thursday night hockey game between the Flyers and the Blue Jackets when I know we're shit anyway.
It's crazy because I don't recall the last time I was this into sports and hockey at the forefront, because let's face it, like, part of that is the devs are good again. But I still feel, regardless of that, this was a good hockey season, period.
It was, dude. It absolutely was. And a cool cup. It was, I expected this cup to be better for the game, and it wasn't. But that's no fault of the players.
There's no fault of the players, even though 5 games is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely no fault of the Vegas Golden Knights or the Florida Panthers.
No.
It's our boy Bettman again, fumbling all over himself. It's like, how do you do that? It's like baseball with the City Connects. Like, how do you do this?
Yes, exactly.
It's all teed up. You're doing something close to right, and all you got to do is finish.
Yeah. People want, dude, hockey is like, hockey fans are like wrestling fans. They're like horror movie fans. It's very culty in a way. And they will, if you shit on what they love, they will fucking fight you tooth and nail. And it's like, but you make it so difficult to bring outside people to your product. And meanwhile, here's a promo that says hockey is for everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're right, and it should be, and I feel like it is if everyone could have access to it, you know, or you didn't make it so hard for everyone to find. You know, hell, even those of us that know where to find it and want to watch it, it's a hemorrhoid, you know? I mean, I can't believe they didn't foresee this as it pertains to the Stanley Cup, and the lowest rated one since 2007 with the Ducks and the Sens, and it's like, that's not a reflection on any of these players. This was actually a very, very talent heavy on paper series, I would argue. You know, you had the hottest player in the playoffs and one of the best players in the sport in Matt Tkachuk. There was a lot there for you. There was a lot there, and it just sucks because, I mean, again, like you said, it did go 5 games. Hey. Fuck yeah. But it's still, you know, it could have been better despite the fact that it was 5 games. It could have felt like a bigger deal, you know, and probably in those markets, definitely in those markets, it was a huge deal. and nothing makes me happier than knowing that, look, Vegas has had a track record of success, 6 years to win a championship, and they've been very good, and I'm fucking sick of their shit already, and they can go to hell, but I respect the fuck out of what they've done.
Absolutely.
It's incredible, dude.
Wow. That is some horse shit.
Fuck me running.
Wow.
Jesus. The other Goudreau.
Freddie Hockey.
Yeah, right. I think the coolest thing to come from this is that it should very much revitalize hockey in Florida.
Yeah.
You've got Tampa, which we've talked about. I mean, Tampa's damn good. And now you have the Florida Panthers too. So and again, the thing with hockey, the Panthers could end up not really doing anything next year. Who knows? We'll see, but it'll at least get people excited. And, they were always kind of the Florida team that we looked at and said, man, you have actually a pretty good team down there, but you're just not showing up. You can't give Panthers tickets away, so if this does generate interest down there and turn that into more of a hot market, no pun intended, then I think that's a good thing. Especially if you look around and you see what's happening in, Phoenix, and you're having to move all these teams around, that it's like, man, it probably wasn't the best idea to put a team there to begin with. I get trying new shit. I do. And I think it's admirable to a degree, but I don't know.
The Coyotes, look, man, I hate to lose that gear. I hate to lose that name. It's a fun name.
It's a great name.
But it's clearly a failed experiment.
Mm-hmm.
They've never been to the Cup, which, is one thing. That can't be the measurement. But however long since they moved to Phoenix.
Yes.
4 winning seasons.
Poorly run franchise. And they did something at one point with Gretzky where they tried to bring him in and make him some sort of, I don't know if it was president of hockey ops. I don't know if you remember that. But I'm pretty sure they tried to do something with him. And it was like, it wasn't Jordan as an owner, but it was just kind of like, dude, you're the great one. What are you doing? I definitely think which is crazy, dude. When you think about it, hockey is by far it's the most distant. It's last place of the 4 majors.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've even seen some people argue like it's the 5th if you include MLS even, which is fucking crazy to think, right?
Seriously.
But, despite its struggles and all of the things we just said about the way they manage their league, it's about to be the only league that has 33, 34 fucking teams. And it's crazy. It's crazy because I think there's something to be said for, okay, like I get Vegas and Seattle have been a huge success, but that doesn't mean every expansion team's gonna be
right.
And I think it gets to a point where you go, okay, how watered down are these rosters going to be, and that's not to take away from any of the jobs that it would create in guys that get to live their dream of being in the NHL. I'm not shitting on any of those guys, because who wouldn't be happy for somebody for achieving what they've wanted to do? But I do think it's just kind of like you're flirting with a little bit of a disaster when you start going, we've allowed 2 new teams in the league in the last 6 years, and we're looking at 2 more again already. There's a reason we haven't had a whole lot of expansion in the 21st century. What's left to be expanded?
Where else is there to go?
Exactly, dude. It's like and not to, whatever, but it's like, if you're going to do anything, move Phoenix,
mm-hmm.
Or Arizona, Find you another team that's struggling and relocate them. And you know what? If there's not another team that's a candidate for relocation that doesn't have a lease running up on an arena or whatever the case may be, then fucking leave them there. If they're struggling a little bit, it was your fucking decision to put them there. So, you know, if you only get to relocate the Coyotes, then you better get their market right. And it feels like Gary Bettman's trying to do too much, and he's not paying attention to the shit that would actually help the product. And I think it's like he thinks, well, if I just add a bunch more teams in American cities, that means I'm a success. And it's like, no, dude, like that's not the only measure of growing the game. You know, TV ratings are everything now. Why are the TV ratings, you know, what they are? That's the shit you should be focusing on, not putting it, you know, a third fucking team in Atlanta. You know, if you want to do the Salt Lake thing, please do it. I'm all for it, you know, but move the Coyotes there then. Let's not do a whole other expansion draft and all this other shit. And yeah, you know, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. I think 34 teams is a little bit nuts, because when you look at hockey and you've got 8 teams that make the playoffs each year in each conference, that's 16 altogether. You know, 32 teams, half the league makes the playoffs. You know, let's just call it there, man. You know,
or at least before we consider this, let's get these teams right. Let's get every team competitive. Let's get all of these markets actually, again, like I hate to keep pointing out, you know, we went to Nashville and it was a blast. That place was packed.
Hell yeah, dude.
Up. It completely changed my thoughts on Nashville.
1000%
a hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
The Nashville Predators are cool in my book now.
Like, for sure. They belong.
Blast.
Yes, absolutely.
Can we get everywhere like Nashville? Like I kind of want to go to Columbus just to have that experience, just to see, is it cheeks there? Do people give a shit about the Blue Jackets?
1000% agree, dude, because they were the other team that I was going to reference aside from Arizona, but it's weird because Columbus is doing this thing now where it's like they're fucking linked to every free agent. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they just, not that he's whatever, but it was a significant move. They just got Provy from us, mm-hmm. and
Sivo from us.
Exactly. And that's after, you know, the trade for Line A couple years ago, and you bring in Johnny Hockey last year because Chuck Fletcher sucks at life. And yeah, dude. So Columbus is active. I will give them that, but I don't know if they're snake bitten or what, but I mean, you were saying about Arizona, I think Columbus has won one playoff series in their entire existence, and they've only been around, you know, maybe a couple years more. I think 4 years more than the fucking Coyotes. So they haven't been around that much longer, and their track record is even worse. So I don't know, man, but there's got to be a way to do it, because like you said, we've said the same thing about Nashville. Like, Nashville, what the fuck? And then you go, you know what? This belongs. And we went. It wasn't a rivalry game. No. It was a Saturday afternoon matinee where they're playing the Florida Panthers, who, yes, ended up going to the Stanley Cup, but at the time you didn't know that. And the Preds themselves were, you know,
they were just about to sell
the entire team. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, it's not like they were exactly setting the world on fire, and Bridgestone Arena was fucking hot for that team.
And it was a blast. And it turned my son on to hockey.
Dude, yeah. I mean, that shit was so fun. And, you know, it does make you go, okay, so maybe we shouldn't just look at a map here and judge. But at the same time, that, you know, you get a Nashville just piling on them.
Glad we earned that last one, though.
Hell yeah, dude.
You love it.
That's not the case for every market. You know, so I don't know, man. I'd like to see him do something. Salt Lake has me very curious.
My only problem with somewhere like Salt Lake is you look at some of the decisions that have been made by like a Provi and the Stahl brothers and such. You're going in right into
yeah. No, I know, dude. I know, and you do flirt with a little bit of disaster there for sure. I think
21 shots.
Jesus, dude. I mean, I'm curious to see how this team's going to turn out because 6 goals. I mean, dude, I don't think we've gotten below 3 goals. Maybe we've scored 2 once, but we haven't scored 1. We've been at least multiple goals every game.
Yeah, we definitely haven't been shut out. But you're right. I don't think there's been any 1-goal outings.
No, dude. And this is with preseason guys where the roster is fluctuating. So, yeah.
You got me curious. 3-1, 3-2 loss, 3-0 win, 5-1 win. What does that say?
2-1 loss. Okay. So our very first preseason game where we're like, yo, here's all these new dudes. So we've got to be
1-2.
Very close to the regular season.
It looks like there's a whole ass couple weeks left. 2, 5, 8. There's still 10 preseason games left. No. I don't know. I don't know about playing all of them.
No, we only have it's one. It's the Calgary one.
Oh,
because it's highlighted in blue. I just noticed it. Yeah, because I was thinking the same thing, and then I noticed
next month. I got it. Yeah.
Yep. Because I thought the same thing. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. But okay, so we're basically damn near through the preseason, and then
what time is it?
Yeah, 7:23.
All right, so we're done.
But
so I'm going to sim this last play. We've seen what we need to see.
Yeah, for sure.
And then that way next week we can start with the
kick off the regular season. I'm with it. We're salary cap compliant. We already know that. And we got money to spend. So I think that's the craziest thing too, dude. We come away, we enter this year.
Oh, what's going on
here? Finish game circle. Yeah. We were kind of up against the cap last year. And now we come away with 1-0. All right. I feel like that game would look different if we had played it, but that's all right. At least we won. Because normally it seems like when you tend to simulate the games,
like, we can make them lose.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a chance to fuck them. Yeah, dude. This is going to be a fun year, man. This is going to be a fun season.
Hey, look at that.
Go to assign scout. Okay.
I don't care about any of that.
For real. Look at the team we built. We're going to accomplish them anyway.
We probably should at least see if we can fix the arena.
Yeah, so we can get that exclamation point out of there. Because, yeah, we tried to, but we didn't have the budget yet, owner. So maybe you should open up your pockets.
Oof. Look how bad these are. Hey. That's a cheap repair.
Apparently, we need another parking lot. Owner goal requirement. You know what, though? This owner, you're going to have to start increasing your
Yeah, you only gave us 2 point something mil.
Yeah, you're not giving us a lot to work with here at all. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, and everything's a requirement.
Upgrading completes an owner goal. Well, we can't upgrade.
But they can only be upgraded in the off season. Are you serious? Wow. Okay, so it went through. Cool.
Funds remaining. Oh, okay.
All right, so we're good.
Might as well do that.
Yeah, I think 1 level's good because we know the owner is going to have more shit for us to do in like January. So, all right, we're good for now. That'll be enough to shut him up.
All right.
Why are you making Hot Joe do all this?
Yeah, I know, right? That's not a Hot Joe job.
Yeah, no, this is beneath him. He's too busy putting together a winner.
All right.
And we open against the Kings. How cool is that? at home. Love it. And so, yeah, they'll probably show the banner, which will be cool as fuck. I know they used to do that. So
that's things to look forward to next week, folks.
Yes.
And also, if you've made it this far, thanks.
Absolutely.
Please hit the subscribe button. We'd love that. And let us know, because we're probably going to be fluctuating. For now, it's going to be hockey.
Yes. Yes.
But we're probably going to start fluctuating in either an old Madden game until the release of the new one. Possibly some FIFA might get in here.
Yeah.
Maybe some NBA 2K if I start actually liking it. We'll see. Because the contract, man, I did the off season. So here's what we'll close with. One of the things is you can pick up from the date in the actual season.
Okay.
So it was the day after the Nuggets won the championship. And I was like, let's see what happens. I'll jump in.
Right.
I took over the Suns right after.
Okay.
So the contract situations can eat my ass. It is so frustrating because there's like all these mid-level exceptions and like all this crap. And it's like, oh, I'm glad I did this.
Dude.
Actually, no, I'm not.
Can we just simulate and get to the part where I play? Thanks. There's so much that goes on with NBA contracts, and I'm not like contract cap guy in any sport. I understand it in football way more than any other sport, and a little bit in hockey, but the NBA with their exceptions and their protected picks,
stretching.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, I don't fuck this. I'll let the people that know what they're talking about try to explain it to me. And at the end, I still won't understand. Even if you speak to me like I'm 4, I'm not going to get it.
Pretty frustrating. And I did get to Summer League. And so it has because I had no money because I'm the Suns. I had all these guys I didn't know and a couple draftees and stuff. And so it's kind of the same situation as we were just going through where you could see what can these guys do. And it's like, oh, this is kind of cool.
That's fun.
But I had it on easy. So I this is why I know I don't like the game. Yeah. I had it on easy and I was whooping that ass, but also not.
I know what you mean, dude.
There weren't really many turnovers. We weren't stealing the ball or anything. We were getting a lot of defensive rebounds, which is cool.
Right.
But we weren't outrunning them down the court. It's just a lot of layups. And it's just just underneath. It's oh man, this is not fun.
I feel like there should be a little more than this here.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little more meat on the bone.
It's just not very fun. So
no, I get it, dude. I get it.
Folks, we will see you next week at least. Yes. We'll jump into the regular season for the Sharks, and you can help decide what it is going forward. So we will see you. Bye.
Boom.
Oh, I probably need to do this. I'm acting like I can do it from here. There we go.